My golden child brother rammed his car through my house while my kids were sleeping, so I blew him up with dynamite. Tyler was born with a halo that only our parents could see, while I apparently came out with devil horns. From day one, Tyler could torch the house, and they'd blame me for not hiding the matches. Special gift from God is what they called him, like he pooped diamonds instead of destroying everything he touched. By 16, he'd already wrecked 2 cars, and when he said I had stressed him out, Dad believed him and handed him the keys to car number 3. When Tyler was 19, he had his first DUI and nearly drove into a group of students walking on the curb. Dad laughed, said, "Boys will be boys," and then made it disappear with a phone call to the commissioner. He kept raking in DUIs and totaled 7 cars, but went too far after turning 25. Him and his friends were going on a high-speed joyride when Tyler lost control and drove over 2 pedestrians. You'd think he finally ended up in prison, but no. Our lawyer framed it as pedestrians jumped out of nowhere, and Dad wrote some massive checks, but Tyler walked away like he always did, without any consequences or lessons learned. When I accidentally expressed that I thought Tyler should get some sort of punishment, he began threatening me. "Your house is too close to the road. Someone could drive right through it one day." He said that during a family dinner, made vrooming sounds, and then laughed at his own joke. Our parents laughed with him, but I didn't. I told him he needed to grow up and stop relying on our parents all the time. Dad got super angry at me for yelling at Tyler and kicked me out before I could finish dinner. "Go back to your own house and never come back until you've apologized." If he wanted me gone, I'd leave, but as I was leaving I heard Tyler whisper, "You think you're better than me? I'll show you exactly who's the perfect one, big brother." I didn't think much of it and ignored him, but that ended up being my worst mistake. 3 nights later, I woke to the sound of my world exploding. I felt the entire house shake and frantically ran to my daughter's room, only to find out that Tyler's Mustang had plowed right through the wall and stopped 3 feet from her bed, just 3 feet from making me childless. My daughter was shaking and covered in drywall dust. A piece of glass from the windshield had sliced her left cheek, and my brother? He said these exact words, "Oops, this doesn't look like the driveway, haha." My daughter ended up fine, except a few mental scars, and by morning Dad and his lawyers had already turned it into a harmless accident. Tyler went home and never even apologized. Something inside my mind shattered, and I wanted revenge. Not the kind where my dad could just bail him out again, but the kind that would be permanent. I watched Tyler closely for a month and noted down his entire routine. Every Sunday, he'd take his prized Camaro to the abandoned quarry outside town for illegal racing. There were no cameras, no witness, and just him and his friends being equally reckless. If something were to go wrong, it would very easily be ruled off as an accident, especially since driving in that quarry was illegal in the first place. So I contacted this guy named Crazy Koo and bought just enough dynamite sticks from him to make it look like an accident. Then I waited for the next Sunday. Right before Tyler arrived, I went to the quarry and laid out the dynamite sticks in a bit of gravel around the racetrack with a long, hidden fuse. Tyler and his friends arrived at noon and parked right over the trap. Perfect. I hid behind the ridge while listening into their conversation. Tyler was loudly telling his friends about the day he nearly took my family out. "You should have seen my brother's face. He looked like he wanted to hurt me, but knew he couldn't. It was hilarious." I thought to myself, "I'll show you another thing that's hilarious," and then lit the fuse. The explosion went off in 15 seconds, and Tyler was the only one leaning onto his car. He was catapulted away, but also set on fire, and literally turned into a fireball. His friends saw him land 20 feet away, and took off running, leaving poor, screaming little Tyler in the dirt. He probably could have recovered if his friends had balls to call an ambulance, but they didn't. So he kept burning and rolling around in the dirt for 2 hours before our dad's helicopter came looking for him. Tyler ended up with 3rd-degree burns over 60% of his body, but survived with his life. The doctor said he'd never walk again, so he threw a huge tantrum and thrashed his hospital room before being kicked out by a nurse. He demanded an investigation, but all they concluded was that the explosion was caused by old leftover dynamite from the quarry. Tyler started spiraling, threatening to take his own life if he couldn't recover, so Dad poured everything into his medical bills. The golden child turned into the family drain. Now Tyler sits in a wheelchair, scarred beyond recognition with no cars, no friends, and no more jokes about driving into people's homes.